Sierra Leone, push. You my killer, this is for them. Hope for you, say.
This ain't not a kush. No, not a kush. No, not a kush. Oh yeah, I can feel them. What are they run me eye? We are the see me sister them. They die in the street. Oh, me I can feel them. When they see me brother them in the streets. Yeah, some they link they not. Some lay down a guts at the sleep. Oh. So when I ask, they tell me say na kush. Nike pull roll and son of them food. They prefer for left the house, they gonna get so all day they kush. Oh yeah, say not so kush. Oh. Me brother don't want before him friend. Say not so kush. Oh. So we they use the old age my youngest. Say not so kush. Oh. The youths them just they die. Say not so kush. Oh. Sorry, we say that's a cushion. Hey, push for die. Say that's a cushion. Papa government help we are. Say that's a cushion. Hey, push for die. Say that's a cushion. Hope for you to say.
Una good evening, una good morning, una good afternoon. I hope say any side una fed una safe. I hope say una they do well. I don't say don't say when una see this face. Over 4 weeks, una don't see this face, and some of una they wondering say, Matilda, what happened? You tell me say you just dey go quick no more. You tell me say you just dey go quick no more, you dey come back. What's happening? Well, also life happens, and I know for say me I'm a very busy woman. I get so many different commitments then, and sometimes, in as much as I try to clone myself, I am not able to. So that's what happened. And we need for know waiting we for prioritize at any given time. So my going away, I be need for prioritize certain things them at that point. And even though I know say I not there for sit down at this chair, I know say I left una in very, very capable hands them by the person of Mr. Cargo and also by the person of Mr. Boy Jalo Jamboria. So I want to make una all join me for tell them boku adu, boku kushe, and boku thank for holding down the fort. Right? For make sure say rain not so quick. While I was away taking care of other business. Well, as usual, I don't come back. And I hope say this time around, if even I get for disappear, because sometimes duty calls, it won't be as long as I disappeared this summer. We get Boku team them for discuss. But before we sit down inside the discussion proper, I get two formidable people then I also for talk about the topic we una go see today. Before I introduce the topic, Madam Alima tell Fambul them ado.
Akusho, Nakabo, I hope you all they do well this fine Saturday. My name na Alima Tudimonikeni MBE. and I currently in America, but I'm in a UK I come out, but of course I'm in a Sierra Leonean.
Indeed. Mr. Jamboya, tell family Adu.
Fambul them. Una kusha, una kabo, una good morning, good afternoon, sir, una day. May no need for introduce myself again. I think una sabi me the Congo Salmon don't come back.
Well, not to me get a name, so wait, una go yeri, I say the Congo Salmon there. Una all for no waiting with the talk about or waiting at the talk about if I say the Congo Salmon there so. So to the one day way right and say, Matilda, waiting they happen. Matilda, you dey disappoint me. Matilda, you dey disappoint me. Matilda, we don't use for you Saturday. We don't put with timetable there, we don't put with schedule them. As the table reach so no more, we don't count him up now. So let me ask you all for grace. Okay? I do this for the love of our country, but I also have a life outside of this. Right? I also have a family outside of this. I also have a husband outside of this, to take care of and to be with. And I also get other commitments then. And above all, Matilda also needs to take care of Matilda. Many a times we women then we dey give, and we forget to take care of ourselves. If we not take care of ourselves and we stretch ourselves thin, then guess what? When sickness or something hits, it hits hard because we not on build resilience, right? And me not go talk about something where me not dey practice. Self-care is very, very important. So to those who reached out to the network, where they try to figure out what they go on, is that just as how me they take care of myself, I expect say, and so una self will take time and take care of una self. Well, today we don't see say the violence in our community. And when I talk about Sierra Leone, I know they talk just only about the land itself. I they talk about the community within the land and the community outside of the land. We see say the violence, whether being on women or the reverse, don't amplify. It don't de beaucoup. Don't beaucoup. You turn your so na catastrophe. You look so na catastrophe. You look yonder na catastrophe. So we go get for sit down small inside this and talk about sometimes they then kind topic there, so not a one day topic. Sometimes they then kind talk there, so not a one day talk. Because it's very complex. But as uno know, before I always go into the main topic, there are a few things I can like for talk about. The first thing where I want to touch on really now, I don't know if my producer gets that image there about the pile of dirt in the western area. The pile of dirt in the western area. We dey talk about cleanliness, we dey talk about diseases, we dey talk about Esunasi forever and amen, me personal introduction music. I put them on mute, and it's been on mute for close to 2 years, going on 3 years now, and I dey continuously play the Kush campaign because that dey serve na an epidemic crisis where we dey deal with. And by the way, make I not forget, I get a pharmacist, a trained pharmacologist, we get for come and talk to we about drug implication, the chemicals, then everything where they go inside. Get for really go in and talk about the detail of everything where the different kush then lace with, and why make if we not fet this thing. Remember we sometime in the past, I can always say Sierra Leone, the people of Sierra Leone, we as a people, we not a traumatized nation. We not a traumatized people. And if we not put things them in place, if we not really like when I don't know if not Timini man or Limba man and can say all sobe. If we not all sobe with dealing with some of them things now, waiting we go face in certain years down the road are men and women who are incapable of managing their emotions. Men and women who are incapable of managing their emotions. And waiting get for results to that na catastrophe. Well, you wonder why there is a rise in violence in our communities. Because we have grown men and women incapable of managing their emotions. I will get in details into that. I don't know if we produce get that image there where are they look for. But as the show they go on, una no forget say we North America toll free number now 1-866-944-7722. We UK local line na +4420-808-91455. We Australia local line na +6129-09-84337. And then we get we universal line when at the WhatsApp number. We universal line na 1-343-997-5828. Now don't forget say anytime we get shows that like this na so during the week we dey rebroadcast am na we local radio station na Salone wey na FM 91.9. Viewers and listeners will not forget to download the VOS television mobile app where una can get either na the Google Play Store or na the Apple App Store. Now, I want to make me get them up much smaller than this. I see this image few weeks ago. And this image na a particular side na the western area na Sierra Leone. And so in seeing this na dirt, this na filth, na dirt, okay, pile of dirt. This not to an identify or reserve location, not to a place outside and designate for Ibdoti for the collection of waste. This now obviously as you can see, now wetin we can call a slum community. Okay, so almost slum community like them Bome area, them Mabela area type thing, slum community. But we clearly see a bridge. I wish the person been for tell me whose bridge this one so. Then I've been for able say okay now around this area we they look at. I remember a few years ago when I go Salone, I look at the Savage Street Bridge. The way people they don't build, don't back up. The water no get side for pass again. They don't build all na the waterways then. And the human being and the dirty they coexist together. Now, if you look at this, I don't know what's in the Freetown City Council they do because I believe say this not their responsibility for take care of waste management. But in as much as not the responsibility for take care of waste management, if we the people are not involved, if we the people we know all we place like now we lay down place. And then when something happen with 1 point and pan government, how we go progress? All man want run come America. All man want go England. All man want go Turkey. All man want go Australia. Now, don't get me wrong. I know they say dirty, no they exist na den kind place then they oh. But this kind of a dirty, I know one this year. This for me is like at an all-time high. And I made for understand say this na a snippet that it is all over the place. So me they throw a personal challenge to the authorities then at the Freetown City Council and all whatsoever they in charge of waste management. Make them make them can tell we waiting then they do. How they don't sensitize the community whose structures then they don't put in place for making like this they happen. Because this now a breeding ground for disease infestation, multiplication. I don't know what in me guess then think. I go to Miss Alima. When you see something like this, you don't work at the social system. Obviously, you're there to protect women, you're there to protect children. Yeah. Because for me, this is abuse.
It is. It
Abuse
is.
not the way you knock person normal.
Mm.
This here is abuse. I don't know what
Yes.
in you feel.
Thank you so much, Matilda, and the program for having me as always. When they shed light on issues that really affect we as not just as Sierra Leoneans that we live in the diaspora, but as Sierra Leoneans that we live back home because anything will happen to we people them back home, they affect we self na yeah, you know. And one of the T when we major crisis at the moment in Sierra Leone, if I can just make a correlation between what we see in terms of this rubbish pile that this community to what I try for say. So first of all, we know what rubbish is. In the late 70s, 80s, or perhaps early 80s, the government of Singapore, Malaysia, I believe tiger nations came together and say they wanted no rubbish, then passed law. And I remember at first when people they read that law where they say if you throw yourself chewing gum na Singapore, they catch you, they arrest you, na a big crime. And I remembered at that very same time in Sierra Leone, we've been getting a similar thing. We say keep the city clean where for tray rubbish na Freetown, along them cutting tree side was seen as a crime. So, but what has happened now for me, as somebody who don't live Sierra Leone a long time, I just feel, and I don't know if it's an excuse I can make, but it's the one I find most comfortable for me right now. It seems as if since the war, the attitude and behavior, and sadly, of many of we Sierra Leoneans then back home now that nobody want to take responsibility for their own action. Dirty, we get to take responsibility. Dirty na a personal thing. And if people are
Yes.
comfortable with dirty, they not see the reason for letting take care of that dirty day. We go get for make another person feel comfortable because they're comfortable with the dirty. Therefore, they expect other people them back for comfortable with the dirty. You just get for go na free to and let you see the appearance. Me, I don't travel na Boku African countries them, and you they see the personal care where certain people then get of themselves. You they see even well dressed people we walk around eating something from a package and just throw the litter na the ground, no care waiting here for happen. Now, for me, I can lay several correlations here. Let's just start with the public health, and then if you give it with time, I can even go into the damage that some of this rubbish they cause to the environment, to the community themselves, where this is happening. So let's take public health for example. We know the cause of many of we illnesses in Sierra Leone, things like cholera, dysentery, malaria. All of these health conditions or health diseases, they stem from filth and dirt. Stale water or stagnant water is where the mosquito eggs are laid, and therefore, when bitten by those mosquitoes, you get malaria. We know
Yeah.
cholera they come from the infestation of germs and bacteria from we waste. It could be rubbish waste, it could be human waste. All of that combined together, right? go cause a terrible illness, not just even dysentery. It can cause another illness like Wells disease, where I know say na kill a lot of Sierra Leoneans, but they don't even know say na Wells disease. All the time you go read and say, "Oh, I get cholera, I get dysentery." No, no, a lot of Sierra Leoneans, and I will tell you what's in a Wells disease and how many people then they get her. So if you look at the health, if you look in that community, let me just take that community for example, without me knowing where, I will make
Mm-hmm.
assumptions based on what we know of different slums. And for
Well,
example, in
somewhere in the western area. That's
yeah,
what I
Western
was told.
area, because we don't get so many slums. And if you look in Freetown in particular, you look at the condition of the health of the people there in that area, you go likely for fen picking and go get skin diseases. You go get people that wake go get things like scabies because the dog waste, the human waste combined together will cause several, skin conditions, pollution at the air. You will more likely find pulmonary diseases like lung, asthma. I'm asthmatic, so I like I clean. I pay great
Yeah.
attention to issues because of my own condition. So anybody we go get pulmonary diseases, anything to do with allergies, go get. Sorry, Jaden, is that you? I can hear you. Sorry, I got my nephew now.
Yeah.
He forgot himself. He's playing his PlayStation or some game. So those diseases are serious conditions to we health, which is why Sierra Leone to this day, because we're in the tropics, is the ripe conditions for what you call an explosion of viral diseases and bacterial diseases, like the spread of, now that make you see where Ebola became in Sierra Leone be terrible because we have the
Yes.
conducive conditions for letting TIA trigger and work perfect, i.e., the disease will go work perfect. I no need for go to that area there. I know say most people there, so let's say men, for example, they are more likely for dying at their area than they of what are
Mm-hmm.
called preventable diseases. Something and day you go
Yes.
get headache one day, you go feel not just headache again. No, you go down inhale the gases from all that dirty they were piling under. So they give out gas emission, and then gas emission, and they're very dangerous just to we eyes, we nose, we body, we smell. They're more likely for die with contagious diseases than like a facing cloth because the water
Mm-hmm.
within the wash it go don't come from there, then we don't get bacteria, then other water they. So if they take anything and put on it and skin it, then it will get topical diseases that way very, very extensive in the severities in that area. So these are just some of the thing I want to say. In other parts of the world, that area will be identified as a highly contagious, dangerous area for anybody for living. Yes, it's a
Yeah.
slum, but if I come from a human right perspective, the right to live in an environment that is clean and conducive for one's health is a human right. So
Yes.
the government can declare that particular area as a public health hazard to the community and the city itself because the bio waste will go there. Like, for example, people that go through away their building material them. It's very toxic. They will go through
Mm-hmm.
away washing up we don't was pan dirty. Over time it is set sediment then at the top of if you see that layer they anybody with the working at that top they is practically walking on the most hazardous waste in the world. They may not see that it affect them right now, but that's what it is. So, from a
Mm-hmm.
perspective of danger in terms of public health, that is a dangerous environment that the government. This should have been a public declaration on television, on radios, maybe to get calling on the Ministry for Health for going to that area. Because if anybody gets any kind of condition from there, it then spreads into the communities that don't have even that kind of waste, So
Yeah.
things like pulmonary diseases, things like topical facing cloth, for example. Now that make if you go to Freetown, I not ever see facing cloth widespread like upline like how we did in Freetown because the close proximity, this congested communities, what I go call Boku crowd. Then compound, then come together. So it just take one person forget like tuberculosis, where then we don't get from there, for let it spread at the whole city. So just like how we be
Mm-hmm.
proactive during the corona Ebola, I think we can still apply those methods in this to this current situation. For say, declare it a public health hazard, send a public health advocates then at the community. Obviously, masked up, wearing hazardous wear, because again, we don't want to put we citizens at risk when they go to that community there. Anybody in that community, I will even go further to say perhaps even 100 radius, 100 meters radius. Every person in that community now, for they see a medical person, for letting them do a check, because we can tell, say, a lot of people there, you know, mean say because you know they sick, the effect that they happen, but you can get internal organs the way go they fail from inhaling, for example, the toxic. Women they're more likely for suffer infertility in their community than they, or if they do have children, they're more likely for die before the age of 5. Pregnant women are more likely for die with complications of like severe bleeding, because they don't get this Wells disease now them body where they go make you blood they boil, literally your boils, you know. So it's a filthy situation, and it's our responsibility. Unfortunately, Sierra Leoneans of today, and it's hard for me for say this as somebody we're very proud of being Sierra Leonean. It seems as if there is an excuse on all of us. We're all responsible. Because if we not hold we citizens them accountable, they will think this is not affecting us, because these things affect us even here in the UK. Because that same lack of accountability on ourselves, that same attitude they then will bring back na England. You go see somebody go then na house in chinch then na house, cockroach then na house, mosquito arata then na the house. Then they see say that is a danger to their health. You know, me, I don't go carry out assessment for and childhood development or social, what we call social services assessment on safeguarding. We don't sit on a pala where the mosquito, the arata then pass through. Where the woman say, wow, you sit in a rat infested home, you know, in America, in any part of the world, that is a danger to the child, because the arata bet you. You know, we were in Kudena, Kenema. We know the danger of the rata. They bet you. You they get they may get one disease where they call Lassa fever. Lassa fever, it they go cause for you for be a hard of you get an ear infection. We go eventually cause for you be deaf. And talking about other things that you grow in that community, that you know, go get teeth, you go get gum diseases, you go get scabies, you go get stunted growth, because again, you know, and cleanliness. There's a reason why we say cleanliness is next to godliness. And indeed, the way
Yes.
you did like a filthy, dirty area, it affects your mental health and well-being. So I don't want to go much, because I get me big brother and I have for any self now somebody we don't do almost so much work over the years. I give himself opportunity for talk. But from me, from a perspective of a community advocate and somebody with a interest in public health, especially this kind of health in Africa, because anywhere you go like this, more likely there will be incidents of domestic abuse, violence, rape, because again, there's no accountability. There will be children
Yes.
in this neighborhood. I can guarantee you, children will come on at this neighborhood. They're more likely for suffer a rape, incest, drug addiction, because you would not feel alive in this area. You're gonna walk out, you're walking dead. So you're not gonna be energized or enthusiastic for see tomorrow. So anything else will be dim. Everything else will be, you know, detrimental to that individual. You know. So thank you.
Indeed.
I'll go pass it to me, brother. Mhm.
Indeed. I want to tell you, Boku, thank you for all the thing them where you lay out. The reason why make I can do them shows there, so I know for say una they wait for make I can talk politics, but this is also politics. This
Yes,
right
well,
here that I am.
now this them politician they want. Where we they go and sing and dance for there? It also another accountability. We are spending our time on wasted matters that the politicians are happy for let we they do so, because that they take them away from taking responsibility and doing what is right for we people. We don't they go on about this election is over. Who is holding who accountable? We want this,
Accountable.
look at me and this, my brother, for the talk to you, Naya Matilda. Today should have been the Minister for Health, the Minister for Country Planning, the mayor of Freetown. These are the people who
Yes.
should be sitting here. I'm just an average Joe citizen. We're passionate about women and girls issues, but my interest in women and girls issues, they lead me down this path for say, for let we get a country that is progressive, in developed, and they say human capital. This is what human capital is. We can't be singing and dancing
Exactly.
to white man there, where we still the shit in a pan. Sorry for use that language. We still the shit in a pan. We throw away over window. That is not a
Yes.
progressive country. That is the bottom of the pile, and this is why then they still refer to Sierra Leone as the least developed, the least gendered, the least progressive country, not just in Africa but in the world. We index they
Yes.
show that we don't take these things serious. And I know the
No.
government, they try, I know people are trying, but there has to be a point now where we they say, you know what, how long must we stand, how long must we sit and wait for people? Now this is the Sierra Leonean people now. Get off your chairs, get off on a bench, the whole as you know. They make audio, they make recording video after video for Peter Paul when I be the Secretary General of the WWKC party. We know one for your all that nonsense. What you will want it weary. Let you go down that dirty box there and so. Go all Chief Natty, where sit down and nothing, and say Chief Natty, we picking and they die in then kind place here. Wait till you need for do. This is the strength of the Sierra Leone that I want to see. And the way I don't so, you know, for Matilda, not to you angry go off. Oh, I don't come out first na England, say like I can blow to me people there because Salon Energy, it seems for like say the people they don't that waiting at the word Frenchman say it's like they don't evacuate salon person from the salon being. It's like the people no longer thinking. It's like some kind of demonic power don't possess the minds, especially our men. You know, me brother say na woman the responsibility. Me brother, every community where they go now, they see 20 man too. Hey, APC, SAPP, APC, SAPP. The way it deafen me ears because whilst this is going on, we will keep having these kind of slums, and this is the worst to come. Sorry to say, Matilda, in 2 years' time, we will until us they don't begin collapse. Maybe this will wake
Yeah,
Sierra Leone.
it's okay. You know, the thing is that I can always say we will be here, we will be witnesses to all of this.
Oh
And
yes, you know I'm not feeling
posterity,
sorry. And
Honestly,
there is a lot of documentation. For me,
honestly,
I'm also
Matilda, I
living in
want to
other
stop
places.
being a witness to these things.
I don't want to
Yes,
be a
Honestly,
sir.
witness. We now
it's
have to
getting
One
me
thing where I want
crazy.
to
people
say,
I'm getting
there.
crazy seeing these things,
yeah,
listening to this.
one thing where I want to say is that they say posterity will judge you according to your works. For me
Yeah.
as a Sierra Leonean, my posterity is out there. And I know
Yes.
that posterity will judge me fairly, and so many others, because we know see them as bystanders. Them, we know see
Yeah.
them fall and fall foot. Yes, you are right. The minister of health, the local minister, minister of works or whatever, the mayor, city council or city councilor. These are the people that should be sitting here talking to you. But unfortunately, we come out in a country where they feel say if you not toe a party line, you not toe a particular color, vuvuzela, then it means you are an outcast. So me don't resolute me mind. Outcast me all you want does not prevent me from talking about the issue. At the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, you call so many disease them. Forget about the disease. There are other health impact where you sit down and sort field. Now that make I say this is abuse. And I know for say people then go quick for point finger, say, yes, the mayor of Freetown, yes, city council, yes, local governments get for work in connection with the national government, not a one person they do thing, and you also as citizen you get responsibility for play, you self get part for play. So guess what, the abuse is all over. Not a one person they
Mm-hmm.
abuse one person I
Yeah,
hear.
and look,
How the
that
government they
rubbish there,
abuse you
Matilda.
now, so you self
It,
they abuse the government. How the local
mm,
government they abuse you now, so you self they
mm,
abuse the local government. How the national government they abuse you now, so you self back they abuse them. It is
mm.
a general abuse that is going on. Mr. Jambo, I go make you come inside.
Yes, ma. Thank you, ma. I no go can repeat what my sister don't say because she has made a lot of pertinent points. Only that one hazard we forget for her now electronic hazards. Then the more
Yeah.
dangerous than anything.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
use phone, use batteries, use bulb, then they go put in them place then they. The
Yeah.
toxic things, the way them thing they gear out. People they don't know. Of later they see people and they get sickness, part of them body they cut away. Now then thing then they. But coming to the point, you see, if we want less salon make, let we put aside politics. Let we look at we society. Let we ask them questions them. What in our we understanding of religion? How we connect them with we well-being as people living in a society. Recently, my wife went to Sierra Leone. She had to go through Guinea. When they come back, a Guinean driver, we drive and come, he say, on a country, na two thing na on a problem. He said the way where they explain religion to una and the way we una they take education. I had told her that years ago, and I've been saying it years ago. When she came back and said it, I said, well, and you don't hear it? I said, take Guinea. Then different from we because of the way they understand life. You see, what we have lost in Sierra Leone, especially after the war years, we had a divorce between our spiritual self, where you say demon don't take over, not a demon. We divorce from the spiritual Sierra Leonean, we concentrate on the material Sierra Leonean. I know say the terror una been they go school, una been get debate in societies, una been they discuss learning is better than silver and gold. All man be they argue for silver and gold. The religion we believe in, tell we say, go ye first in search of knowledge, then you shall inherit everything. That diamond where they kill we say for Sierra Leone, 1929, a Catholic priest go discover an Abuajibu. Before then, I've been double stone. Botswana, before 1975, they use diamond for decorate the houses. Until then do a geological survey and find out saying a diamond, then they got the value they asked for, which is not what we are discussing here today. What I'm saying simply is human beings not for divorce themselves from the environment, the natural self, and anything what they do with you emotion and your spirit. The war, the greatest damage where it caused to Sierra Leone, it killed the spiritual side of the Sierra Leonean. I'll say this, and I'm saying it as an hypothesis that will be proven if anybody care for do the research. 90% of the people walking around well dressed in Sierra Leone are not mentally correct. Some of them things I will not see now a manifestation of the mental state of the people. Yes, freedom been dirty before the war. We know. There was this Keep the City Clean campaign during Alfred Akibo Betts' tenure as chairman of the city council. Ebengaji Bujalo, they were doing fine. But compared to today, the kind of filth within a freedom, the degradation we don't take place to the environment, especially building houses erratically on the hills. If people know how that they destroy them mentally, they would sit down and think twice. As Una rightly say, this is not about blaming government or blaming politicians alone. We, the citizens, therefore begin to ask ourselves, what can we do? How can we contribute to make this better?
Yeah.
I remember during the time of the MPRC, this last Saturday cleaning was introduced. It was a radical move, but at certain level, it was very efficient. Efficient in the sense that people within local communities, when they come together, then do general cleaning, will be the help. But this is not what we need. What we need is for us to build a new culture for we society. The culture we go make everybody take responsibility. I go say this and I mean am. If you see politics, they go the way they go so now we country now because we no want take responsibility. We only want to get the benefits, but we want to push the processes and everything to somebody else. And that one person they not get the capacity. The government of Sierra Leone not get the capacity for move Sierra Leone forward. But again, there is a problem we have with our politicians. Them feel say we don't elect them, they don't they on a pedestal, they don't pass we, they're not for listen to we. We try to correct them, then see them as an insult. And me now one person, I'm not afraid, they're not of them. They all know that. They know me. All of them know me. I tell you what I believe is correct. There are
Yeah.
solutions to these problems. But these solutions have to be collective. And it's not a solution to blame. The Freetown City Council not get the capacity for solve that problem. The government of Sierra Leone not get the capacity for solve that problem. And I go tell you now one thing. No international community will give us money to solve that problem. Because it's a social service that has to be built on a platform that will make it sustainable. They cannot give you money where money cannot solve the problem. The problems them will get na Sierra Leone, most of them, not to money they solve them. Now attitudes they solve them. And for make we get the correct attitudes, we all for come on board. We ask the necessary questions. We come with the
Yeah.
necessary answers. And we say, okay, from today, we they take this as a standard in our society. You section chief, you town chief, you community leader. This is what we want in this society. If anybody go against, let we know. That's how you set standards in society. Because if we don't do that, we can have X number of governments coming and it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. It's not going to change. And we therefore take focus away from physical structures. Now we look at how we go build with psychological and spiritual infrastructure in our society. We can get all the nice buildings. And of course, when you look at Sierra Leone today, what do you see? You see a lot of beautiful prisons, well built houses with high walls, metal gates, metal in the window. I'm living in a glass house, almost. Yes, no walls. Because the psychological and other infrastructure they na the society na ya. In London, where you live, you go see vast differences where the psychological and other structures vary. Of course, that is what you call class. There are certain parts of London where they go, you know, they meet dirty at the ground self. Fast breeze blow grass so but don't die. Other parts then they meet a rat and a treat they run.
True.
But we can make it better. All we need to do is put down certain things. Then we take up other things. In Sierra Leone, what we need to put down is this oversized ego that we have. The Sierra Leonean ego big person, I make you not listen to advice. And when you give the Sierra Leone man power, you try for advice, you don't be the enemy.
True.
because ego oversize. Now put her down. Now I make we begin the program. I introduce myself as Congo man because I am putting down my ego. I was very egoistic at a point, but I have learned from experience that it doesn't pay. It harms you if you don't know. Because people should come and talk to you. What will make you see life better will stay away from you. And that's the exact situation we have in Sierra Leone. Now I make politicians them who get for they behind them. Me now I'm post they behind them. Then like me or they not like me, I don't care. Me now them family.
Mm.
So I'm very big for my
Exactly. No, exactly. We they talk, and I know for say some of we viewers and listeners them, when they go watch this show or when then they watch this show, then go say, but Matilda, you topic now the current, now the rise of violence, na salon. So waiting that gets for do with dirty. Well, people go
Yeah,
figure.
it
It gets a
gets a
lot.
lot to do with Doti. It gets
It
a
gets
lot to
a
do with
lot.
Doti.
It gets a lot. So you see, when I they choose a topic and the topic them where I they mesh am with, I'm very intentional about waiting I they mesh me main topics them with. This dirty way una dey see so una na dirty no more una dey see. Me dey see all waiting the dirty, the existence of the dirty wey sit on there, all the other thing them wey e dey bring come inside and add inside because that dirty sit on there. And
Even the
everything wey all
psychology,
man don't talk about, yes, everything wey all man don't talk about na ya so. Trust me, that dirty dey just because that dirty sit on there na a microcosm, na an effect of the existence of that dirty day. So yes, I'm talking about the rise of violence. But guess what? That dirty day they play a part, a significant part as a matter of that, in the rise of violence. Because there are so many layers where they come as a result of that, where at the end of the day, the final action where they see now somebody resorting to brutality, an act of violence. Now I want to go to one other one way. Also, now a microcosm of the society where we live inside, where when things like this happen, when we live in that kind of environment, they like Mr. Jamboya say, where you go in a salon, you they see beautiful prisons them where then they build right now. They don't build a lot of beautiful prisons then. No space no there for the environment, no space no there for make natural air flow. There is no such thing as building an environmentally friendly place. Tick no there. One of these days on this live show, I will take you people and show you my backyard. The amount of tree them we sit on in my backyard. And my front yard, how green it is and the thick way sit on there. Not only are they respect the laws of the land, but me self I need proper air quality around me. But una waiting una they think of the land they make we put block inside. If you only know the harm and the dangers of cement, concrete, una go take 10 bill. Una go take 10 bill. Now, in less than a couple of weeks, the first one, a 5-story building, people then lost their life senselessly. Now we get a 7-story building where a brother and a sister, unfortunately, so many people. I want to read the write up from Sierra I, and I want to tell Sierra I because now the material I go use for, because it give a very detailed summary of things the way they happen right now. A family lost both of their children The daughter who had just entered, I believe, from one. And then the son where I shall say they either primary or kindergarten, something like that. Franco and Margaret. And so many other people then lost family member, including inside we own VOS family. Inside we own VOS family, there was a loss where we suffer as a result of this. Everybody want make money. Everybody want charge foreign currency for rent. But there is no gatekeeper. Nobody not the way they gatekeep. Then they thief people, they land them, fitty fatter, just they erect structures, they fitty fatter with no proper building code. Uda na the civil engineer, we been there na them sites there so. Uda authorize, Uda permit the structure. Uda can watch the structure and say yes, Uda na the civil engineer, we say yes, this foundation can hold 7-story building. Udat. And now, so many families that don't lost their loved ones. Do you know the stress? You know the stress where they add on top the already convoluted stress within the society into a family. So if you really say a man slap or a woman slap or this person fed or whatever, there's already great stress within. And then human negligence can add their own stress on top. It makes for a very combustible environment, a very inflammable situation. I want, before I hand over this topic and waiting me guess them today think, I want to read something from the Sierra I the waiting them put together. Sierra I go a price of negligence. The recent collapse of a 7-story building in Shell Kisi, resulting in the tragic loss of 15 lives. Just imagine 15 people then. Once again highlights the depth rooted issue plaguing the construction sector in #Freetown. At President Bio's promise to a full-scale inquiry is commendable, but Sierra Leone's history with such investigation cast doubt on whether meaningful actions will follow. Very much so. Far too often, recommendations from similar inquiries are ignored, leaving the systemic problem unaddressed. Accountability, once again, is at the center of this tragedy, and we must not allow this to become another case of forgotten promises. The collapse at Shell is symptomatic of a large problem. The faulting of building regulation, the use of substandard materials, and the frequent cutting of corners by unscrupulous developers. This negligence is further compounded by the bribery and corruption at various levels of government, which enable unsafe buildings to go up in some of the most vulnerable parts of our city. The result is that lives are being lost and people are left to fend for themselves amidst a thickening time bomb of unsafe construction. Sierra Leone has a robust legal framework that requires architectural and structural drawings to be approved by certified professionals before construction permits are issued. However, this process is often bypassed by those willing to pay a little extra to circumvent the rules. As a result, many buildings in Freetown are constructed with little regards for safety and even less consideration for the people who will live in or around them. The chain of accountability in such a disaster, pointing out the roles of various institutions, including the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Sierra Leone Standard Board, and the constructors themselves. The ministry should regulate the importation of construction material, while the Standard Bureau is responsible for ensuring that only quality material enters the country. Yet both institutions seem to be failing in their duties, with standard material flooding the market and finding their way in construction. I think with substandard, let me go back, with substandard material flooding the market and finding their way into construction projects across the city. This failure in regulation leads to preventable tragedy, like the one we've just witnessed. The responsibility does not end with the government. Constructors, homeowners, and even tenants have a role to play in ensuring that construction is done according to the law. Too many buildings prefer Too many builders prefer to use unqualified personnel, bypass certified engineers and architects to save costs. These decisions are often made with full knowledge of the risk, yet they proceed in the name of expenses and profit. This negligence costs lives and it must stop. The situation at Shell Kisi is not an isolated incident. Several areas in Freetown, such as Hillcourt, Tegbek Town, and the famous Samba Gutter, are rife with illegal constructions. Buildings are being erected along waterways and landfills without any regard for safety or the environment. The unchecked construction not only endangers life but also escalates the risk of flooding and other disasters. I go end up Nayasu because I found this to be a thorough, well written, all inclusive, naming of all of the implications where don't lead to this type of situation. And more day. As a matter of fact, I even see a picture of a building where I still try for figure if not a triangle or if not a rectangle. The place is so small. I don't even think say that in a full one town lot. I think say that in a half town lot. But if you see how high the store is then, I'm like, hey, please show this picture.
Guys, the building will be the top of 90s. This is a pure death trap. Now watch out. The land small, you not even reach this other, you not even reach one town lot to side in Bila. Una see am. Now watch this building. Now watch out. Now I want to watch this building. I want to see you side and put out. Nobody nothing towards this. Hey, Daniel, how are you?
But una tell me, me fumble them. How somebody, an engineer, an architect, go design story building in this kind lot. Now this kind plot here, so this lot, and then put story building there. Now that make I say I'm still trying to figure out what's the shape of this building. And then you go tell me, say, a civil engineer come and watch this thing and certify them. The government come is certify this building for continue. If not, so this is an example of a death trap. And you, the person where gets the land, you feel say this now a sound and a reasonable decision you they make. Let us talk about this. Mr. Jamboya, I will begin with you.
Where there is no soul, there is nothing. It is the mind that makes the man. You are as you think, and you become as you think. All of this they tell we say we don't lose we spiritual existence. We not think straight anymore. Honestly. You see, it's like poverty don't overcome we to the extent that now we they think poorly. Because you not go say you're not professional, you get certificate in something, you they allow somebody for drag you into something like this. If I'm a professional civil engineer, somebody can meet me for go Billows farm, then kind where I go tell you say no, go keep your money. I don't want. Honestly, you see, we they look at a problem way bigger than the way we they see them. We get to think out of the box for understand what thing they go wrong in Sierra Leone. And as I said previously, let we take the ego out of things. Every little thing at President Bio, at Minister, this, why can't we begin to ask ourselves, how can we do this better? When you were making all those bad decisions, President Bio was not there. When we had all the policies in place for them to be implemented properly and they have been bypassed, President Bio was not there. You see, we get to look at the responsibility chain, the hierarchy of command for responsibility in our society. And we politicians forget out of certain things. Because even today, before they come online, I see another and they go, they say they go sympathize with the people. Stop that. Stop that. Ask the institutions that are responsible. Why is this happening? Just like we're saying before put in prison, we came here and told him that's not his duty. As chief minister, let him call all the institutions responsible, then take a policy and implementation decision and make sure say then do it. When things like this happen, rather than with a seek presidential sympathy, let us ask, where are the laws? Who is responsible for implementing the laws? Then let these people come to books and answer for their negligence. We cannot solve a problem by doing the things that cause the problem. Now they Salome. Everything we politicize them. Everything we
Indeed.
politicize.
Indeed. I get a caller on the line. Make I go to me callers them. I like forget them preference. So I will go to the caller. Caller, waiting on your name and who's you they call for. Hello, caller. If you're speaking, we can't hear you. So maybe you want for ace your voice small. Caller, you dey hear we? Or you want to try and call again? Okay. I think say the caller they get some difficulty, so we go, yeah. So make caller call again, try again. We go continue with the show. Um, I dey laugh because I don't know what you for say. I say,
Well,
how desperate are you to make money that you go take half town lots and then you sell the build that and you see the funny thing is that most of the people, 95% of them people here where they build them kind of structure, yeah, they're not a salon. Oh. They're not a salon. Now the places then where then they would you be allowed, would your city, your municipality, your province, wherever your state, would they allow you to build such structure now the place them usai una they live?
Matilda, Matilda.
no. Well,
Let me just say something.
you know, Matilda.
Glad just say something quickly. Recently, we want to add something like a garage now frontage. The municipality say no.
Mhm, mhm,
We get to take permit for build garage now will
mhm,
compound
mhm,
and say no.
mhm, mhm,
And that
mhm,
was the end of
mhm.
it.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. Mhm. Yes, Miss Alina, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know if Nami the echo, but there's an echo coming through. Now I want to check that first. I did get some echo. You know, not hearing me?
We dey
Yeah.
hear you clear.
Oh, good, good. Well, I mean, we brother don't say everything I wanted to say, and this is the problem. We in the absence of the reality of Sierra Leone, this accountability, and people actually stopping and thinking. You know, me, not a daughter of a civil engineer, we're not just a civil engineer, but he's also an architect and somebody we don't work in the field of structural engineering, mechanical engineering for decades. That as a child, I mean, they go with me, daddy, everywhere where they build sites and bridges. For those that know me, daddy, they know the work we don't do in Sierra Leone. The first thing we did was I asked me, daddy, where awake na morning, I see that accident. Then I said, daddy, now I said, what do you think go don't cause this problem? And he said, "You know what, Timmy Peking, and of course, yes, we're going to hold the authorities accountable, but let's start with the people themselves. That site beside this seven building collapse, that was a refill site, right? And over time, same to what we say with that dirty box where we just see so. It took time, not to one day dirty gather so yonder. The first time where somebody see the plastic, the bucket where they throw in the rubber buckets, somebody for don't say pick them up. You know, we all not to because we pull for make say we for accept anything and everything. If you see somebody they do the wrong thing, this is why we will continuously they get the kind of leaders the way we deserve. Because as a people, we don't accept for let people then treat we with the most indignified way as a citizen. Sorry to say that. And this is an extension I can put on many areas of society in Sierra Leone, to the point of, for example, you know, say me they advocate for end FGM, for example. Imagine cutting a girl in that dumpster. What could happen? What the implications could happen to her health? And it's the same thing. How you go build. The first mistake is obviously this is where the actual institutions responsible for authorizing the building for go ahead, like Mr. Jallo Jamboria say, in England, Adena, where you call a pre 19 a post 1940 property, right? And those property changing even just the window, because the kind of window where we get it go in accordance with the old land registration design for that neighborhood, that if you go change your window, say, okay, even when they change to from single glass window to double glaze, it had to be the entire estate that we get for change, because so that we all will get that uniform look. And the reason why, in for example, in England, after the Second World War, yes, there was a lot of destruction in London. For example, the Blitz, the column, happened in London. But there was this thing where we don't come out, where the gentries felt they had the power for gain land and build anyhow and build any kind of houses. But after the war, the people themselves came together as a collective, just as we brothers say. This is everybody, every Freetonian or even every Sierra Leonean, because I don't want to think this is just a Freetown problem. This is a Sierra Leonean problem. People then feel say, because I get a little bit more past the other person, I can do anything and nobody no get no power, no right for say anything to me. We are accountable to the country we promote, not just because we are anarchist demo or free for all, but as a collect, as a just as a human being, where we they live now this world here so. You know, when they were born, baby, you know, you grab your masty baby head, you say you want broken. Why? Because inherently we get that feeling, say, this not mortal man. I got for treat her with care and dignity till it don't reach certain age for defending itself. Now that same attitude is Sierra Leoneans that we want for let we begin forget. You even get people that like where you say a lot of them people are they get then building here. Now people that were in the diaspora. We go imagine say with the knowledge that we have in this parts of the world, in planning permission, in design and construction, in identifying safe, like here they call brownfield site, green site. In England now, you can't just build anywhere and everywhere because they're already thinking for the next 40 years any constructions where you make today has to benefit those people where we go don't die, don't go left long term. So any sites where they be don't do, for example, mining in the past, you cannot build in there because the tendency is that in 100 years, a property on that site is likely to collapse. And this is what has happened. Subsidence, they happen in building, even in general housing construction. They call us stratification, layers and layers and layers. After some time, those layers and Sierra Leone, you see, this is where education, this illiteracy don't get to a point, even our most educated people are illiterate because me not
I
to
would, I
building
would rather
construction.
use the word ignorance, man.
No, illiterate and
Ignorance
ignorant.
actually have a problem, not illiteracy.
Yes, ignorant and illiterate. Because if you're knowledgeable about the subject matter, you will know. Because again, this is where there are many people who have been to Frabe College in Sierra Leone. A lot of people who have even left these shores and gone back home and say, I have a degree. But we know without investigations, a lot of people have those qualifications on the basis of fraudulent processes, right? This is where we now have to ask people, so in the England, for example, the authority who they pass on, they say, okay, give the clearance for like the go check, do the inspection, the health and safety in building a property. Because I used to be a housing officer for many years. In building a property, you got to have the construction companies, you get the health and safety and directorates, you have different entities that have to sign off for a house to become habitable for humans to live in that house, not just one entity. So we need to look back and see, just as the Sarah I don't put onto we, there were several people responsible for giving the go ahead for such structures to be constructed in the first place. You might have the geologist, you have the engineer, even the supplier of the sand. If anything was to
Yes.
happen, now because we not get insurance companies that we go sue. If I were a family of the people that were dying at that seventh building, and I'm sorry to say my condolences to the family, it breaks me how we are see what happen. The danger in that site right now is not just that building. In any parts of the world now, the entire community should be cordoned off. People in those vicinity, the next house, opposite sides, forward and backward, the road should have been closed off because there needs to have a sound structural investigations in that neighborhood. But whilst we dey watch in live time, in active time, as we dey talk, so the amount of errors, me wey not to build in post itself for highlight me that this say me picky, you will give yourself headache. Just when they do that rescue in there, people had no hard hats on. People had no visibility jackets. The crane did not have the signal for warn people there to stay away, how much distance you should be away from the site. The people were, an ambulance was even parked in the next of in England. For let you see ambulance park, who say a disaster like that don't happen because you got to also think of the care of your staff. People were walking up and down. You don't know who were the actual authorized individuals to be on that site. So that building could collapse again. And God knows soldiers were there with just a soldier beret and combat uniform. For somebody who is a family of a soldier, it breaks me heart. That's not the job. Yes, the soldiers are needed to be there, but the authority and the leadership. This is again leadership. We don't get no leadership now. This kind of institutions. Where you say, by now we've already the agency who built that house. We've done the interview by now, the engineer responsible. The minister should be now waiting, either, they call it like a dragon room or whatever they call it, yeah. Any kind such disaster, we'll use Grenfell Tower where 75 people were burnt alive because somebody had a mistake of designing a building, we then use some kind of combustive materials where was it ignites within seconds, right? These were things that were not supposed to be on any building site. You know what? The first thing they did was identifying who gave authority for that building to have been built and the materials to be used, starting for expose these people and holding them accountable. Accountability not mean say shaming person because a politician. No. Accountability says something disastrous as this has happened. 15 lives have been wasted. These are Sierra Leoneans. We know do nobody no wrong. We owe them to those little children. Those little children, two brother and sister, then they, because those are the two I've so far seen. We owe it to our citizen. By now, every Sierra Leonean should be at the door of this company we build this house. Who gave the go ahead for build this house? For don't go sit down at the president in office now and say, tell me how this happened. And if next should be turning now and say, you're going to lose your job because somebody's life has gone. But there is no urgency. There is no desire for say, you know what, this is something that has hurt. Everybody just they make lame speeches. Just we don't want sympathy. This is no longer the time for sympathy. This is that time for say, what, the life. If no life was lost, fine. But we have lost 15 people that we know will get again. And this building was not even supposed to be in this area. This was an area that was banned. Me daddy says since the 80s. It was said that very site in the 80s, there's laws. We have laws in Sierra Leone, if not even one of the best laws in West Africa when it comes to constructions of homes. You know, me daddy been go take the laws that we begin at Sierra Leone, can I go to Liberia for go show the Liberians what thing we need for do for pass law for build houses in Liberia. Can you imagine? But it seems as if, like my
Indeed.
brother said, maybe that's something I never thought about. It's like we have lost our mind for think wise, critique. For telling somebody to say, you're doing wrong, don't mean you hate the person. It's like we don't conflate being critically judgmental of things that go wrong in our country and actually holding people accountable. It seems as if you can't put these two together. You can still do the
Yeah.
same, even within the government. You can hold, in the UK, you will see the very government people will come out and say to their own person, say, we have to take accountability for what we've done. This is not going to be the only building, unfortunately. If I were the government at the moment, the minister for urban planning, the mayor should have been having a meeting as we speak. These entities should have been meeting, put aside their political differences and say, we owe it to the Sierra Leone people. We are serving a country. Come together, hold a dragon meeting, call the relevant authorities that are in place and say, whether people then like and people then go grumble, let them grumble. But whose life now is going to be at risk is who we should be working for prevent now. Pull all man at that neighborhood day because the next building is at risk of breaking down. The grown up solid right now. If we not go get an earthquake, because there's something it's called, because I did geography in school. There are plates underneath the earth, right? I go think of the name right now. Whenever there is a
Yes.
collapse of building, right?
It
It already
weaken the
the
foundation and the structures
it
alike.
weakens the
Yeah.
foundation, it reverberates, it causes already there will be tremors. We're not going to feel them unless if you live in a volcano environment, but you already don't have that seismic. It was about a seismic, but
Seismic.
I don't know.
Okay, a seismic
Seismic
You
reaction.
are
effect.
making
Yes.
you are making a very salient point here.
Yes, sir.
You see,
I want to
when
go to
you
the
talk
caller
about
then.
earthquake, Matilda, do you allow just say this thing quick? When you talk about the
Mm.
earthquake, 2 weeks ago, there was a report of an earthquake in Sierra Leone.
In Kono, and I think
Simply,
Keneman or somewhere there.
that the effect we don't begin see, so there is a possibility that there are going to be other collapses. Maybe, like you rightly said, I'm a geographer also by training. There had been structural distortions from the earthquake because of seismic activities. So it's possible we may see other buildings collapsing. May God help the people of Freetown. Because I
Yes,
know
Indeed,
say
may
they
God
get
help the
a
people
lot
of.
of them not
I,
get
I want
structure.
to use an example. I want to use
I
a
want to go
similar
to the
thing
caller
happening.
then. I want to go to the
Okay,
caller
ma'am.
then because I get callers
Okay,
them on
ma'am.
the line. So make I go to the callers
Okay,
then.
ma'am.
I will go to the first caller. Caller, waiting at your name and who's you the call from.
Hello, VOS. It's Umaru, call from Sierra Leone.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
I they be loud where
Okay.
they
Um,
show where.
Okay, Umar, I hear you. If Narili from Sierra Leone, they call. What do you get from me this evening, Tim?
okay. Um, you see, when something happen, people can voice them out, but as time they go, everybody they forget. What happens on Sierra Leone? This one, the blame totally go to the government. Because when they say now, for instance, Mr. The party, look at forget the party. Mr. Jambore they talk about building. Me, they are Swiss and are they into the building sector? Whenever they want put a structure, then they can make something and call a profile. That profile, it go according to the height of the building, and then they print signboard day for show. And that no, they're not the only pin for all issue, but now for make them get the people approval. And anybody where are pleased with what they want to do, then they petition that particular structure. That now the first, that now just for let the structure come into place. Then secondly, the workers, the construction company for be a certified construction company. And we find yourself in Sierra Leone, every bricklayer, a contractor. And hello?
Yes,
Yeah,
we're
go ahead.
listening.
Hello?
We're listening.
We find yourself in Sierra Leone, every bricklayer and a contractor. And this was not a problem of the people because me when they abroad, I want to build the house for instance. Don't understand it. I don't take somebody, go the go the
We lost
Things
you.
say Umar they get some connection issues.
Yeah. I think Omar just they say similar to what we did talk earlier. I think
Talk,
from what I did
yes.
gather from what they try for say in the side of the government, if we can get the regulatory bodies that would regulate such individual the way they go do such work. Because like you say, me don't day so I know somebody where they build house. It would just take a common person. Just because everybody say, "Oh, Naomi can't do me cement there, Naomi do me block there." You know, my uncle for all those that be standard block factory, Omega Sheriff was one of the biggest supplier of cement that I learned about concrete and mixing concrete and making blocks because we be they make cement block. So very recently, I go Sierra Leone, I go see somebody with a build house. Now ask her, say, hang on a minute. I mean, I've been 9 by 9 inches in terms of thickness of we blocks and it was solid concrete. But now, like they say, there are certain because of this cut short. If you go along Freetown, the peninsula, say for example from IMAT right down, you see individual, most likely women. Talk of women again. Now, woman and they go break this stone. You see that stone the way that they broke. So that is not the stone that should be used in making the concrete way they make cement for make either laying foundation or even laying the concrete. The sand where we they use again, they don't go almost destroy the beach. Now, number two beach that almost clear the sand. Again, yes, we they use sand, but there's a quality when it comes to the sand we they use and a quantity amount in the sand where we they use where we they mix concrete. But a lot of people don't know this. Even people that when they authorize people that for bill for that, they never get a certified, qualified again, which is why I say knowledgeable education. Right now, a lot of people that within at the building industry, unfortunately, have not got the qualification. You go say deem right or suitable for say then they build a house where we say sound home.
Indeed.
No,
Okay,
we don't
make I
have
go to the caller. I see. Then I see flashing that we get callers them on the
okay.
queue. So I will go to the
Okay.
first caller. Caller, waiting at your name and also you the call from.
Hello, Matilda. This is Umaru again.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm like what I've been say. That had the first phase where for inform the people in the area in the community say this type of structure and try to get approval of the community. Then after that, then don't forget somebody a well-trained government certified contractor where they can build that place. So we not say that one room and palo, but else that particular type of structure in that particular place, it will be a government certified contractor. But this one will not follow up this Sierra Leone. This one, not to the man, that man, he won't be the OC, don't contract the contractor, a government, we responsible. Now, if for make sure say, then make we get what you call that country, country plan, we get lands, we get country plan, we before see them for can watch the type of structure and then see the structure in good order. And but they never do that. And I see something will happen after what the strategy happened, even before this. Then they go around. Can you imagine? They arrest business people where they count iron rod in that country. Which to me, no make sense. Why if you arrest a business person where they count iron rod? That man don't go buy iron rod for car import in that country for can sell. You, the government, before that man they enter with that in container, now the port, now they uniform make sure say the man knock out substandard item. Not when the man don't go pay custom. Una don't allow it, don't offload it in a shop, they sell this, una go lock a shop. It don't make sense. Why they allow the man to enter with the thing at the country when they know say it's substandard if the regional government where they work? Why they allow the man to enter that at the country? So I feel say this one, the government, the minister of the minister who is responsible for that particular sector, by now for them to apologize, just like what the mommy say. Don't set committees for interview and find out the contractor will build that house. If not a government certified contractor, whose ministry give that man permit to build that kind of house? And because when in the beginning they build that kind of house, they do step system and banking. That's a banker from down, say up. But go build house who said in that now former dirty box, they don't turn dirty, they say you be like, banker from don't take her up, you expect it stand. And we get government authorities that we approve, who that approve that particular building. Which ministry approve that particular building? This time around, everything they blame 100%, I can say, lie on the government. Then fail the people who are down at that building. Then fail the people who are down in that building. I feel the government for take responsibility and make sure they put things in place. Thank you very much. But this one around, government will apologize and make sure they put things in place and then take total responsibility for them that they were lost. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Omar. Go to the next caller. Caller, waiting on your name and also you did call from.
Hello?
Yes, waiting on your name and also you did call from, please.
Concerned citizen calling from the Washington, D.C. area. Good afternoon, and it's good to see you back and good to have you back. I don't know, are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. The question, I got a question, if your panel can expand on this. I want to go back on the trash issue. the trash issue is a serious problem. And for me, I feel like the city and the mayor have failed miserably with the trash issue. Um, not just them, even local communities in different areas have failed. What do I mean by this? I know my own neighborhood. We try to persuade the neighborhood, right? Along with all, with a put small on a weight and have a trash collector for pick up this trash. We talked about this in a sense that we're going to give jobs to the young people in now this neighborhood for collecting trash, houses by houses. One will come pick up trash like maybe twice a week, using bag rest then for inside and go put them trash them. Because we don't see some of this work in different African countries where the city itself partner with local communities, local neighborhoods, where they create jobs by having young people around collecting trashes. They help them with tricycles where they will put this trash, bag them, taken at a certain place where a dump collecting truck they can pick them and take them inside in it for go. We don't try that approach then, but it's very difficult with our people to buy into the idea. I don't know what thing Una will suggest because it's just crazy. It goes also with we try to do the same thing with our roads. We see the area where we do is daily, of course, like the whole city. So we talk to the whole neighborhood. We say the best way we go able help with all Naya and help our community and prevent our community from collapsing. Number one, let us stop anyone from breaking stones. And then number two, let us put money then together to build a gutter system. We go help with the water in the raining season. But that also fall apart because I mean you're talking in a neighborhood that is influential. You're talking in a neighborhood where people can afford to do that. You're talking in a neighborhood where somebody gets $300,000-$400,000 house, but it's not willing to work with the community to build a gutter or a road or pick up a trash. Instead, the lower part, the poorer part of the community sometimes will burn trash because they're not decided to jump up. So I know working on a contribution with this, meaning the point that I'm trying to make or the question that I'm trying to say is I think we should make this a localized way and work with local neighborhoods where we be able to make this also a job creation for our people. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Carl. I see this now a systemic problem. One day, na VOS, instead of me being the presenter, I'm going to be the guest. And I should say people like shock. Yes. I'm not going to be the presenter, I'm going to be the guest. Like waiting the last caller just talked, so it is impossible to get people to do this. There are people who have trespassed on my family land. They don't trespass on my land for years and years and years. And me, Matilda Cole, trying to do the right thing, taking them to court, taking them to the police. Make I tell you what them people they are they do. Not only are they trespassing on the land, not only are they building, really building on the land we not to the the stone na the land, na and they broke for erect the illegal construction them. And at the same stone at the land, where the stone at the land not to the na and they use back, then they sell to people. Okay? The same, I mean, let me just give you a little bit, right? The same stone at the land, nine and they broke, and then they take build the illegal construction na the land, and then they broke some, then sell back to people then for bill. Let me tell you something. Me family, we are so. I mean, knowing me, you know that I come out na a line where there is no nonsense, no cutting corners. When we do the survey of we plan for me grandpa in term, he make sure say he cut access road. from down the land, take go to the end of the land. Let me tell you what is on that access road now. 60% of that access road, guess what? There's illegal structures sitting on them. Access road. Oh. So even for going at the land for Fendi, for waka through the actual access road. So now see somebody now like me when I'm Matilda. Finally, when the courts go done all in Dabaru business, when the bribery cannot take anymore, and God finally intervene and then give me judgment or give me family the judgment, and I say all those structures should be broken. People then go turn around and point and say we bad, we wicked. We don't have a heart of human. We don't have a heart for humanity. But all these years that my family has been saying, do not build on this land. Do not build on this road. You are blocking the path. You are doing this. They're not a listener. But now the day when Matilda Colin and family go finally say we are taking action and all of these illegal election must come down. Now that 10 day all man go on for sing with bad name. Our people do not listen. And unfortunately, we find ourselves now a system where we get a chain of cabals, a chain of from the headman of the tongue to the police where they na the area there, to the land minister, to the people where they work in the land. And if you want to ask me, just say maybe you don't tell when I survey we land. We not to the kind family then. As a matter of fact, every 5 to 10 years we resurvey we land. And we as children or grandchildren, inheritance of that land, we have kept to that. What our grandparents started and our parents were doing, we have kept to that. Make sure we learn. Right now, as I speak, I'm not able to resurvey the land for the past. The last time we resurveyed the land was in 2010. We mean for say in 2010. Women for say in 2020, latest if anything, we for don't resurvey the land again. We are unable to resurvey the land because we as the owners of the land, because the courts, the case then are court, even though we have been granted how they call it, validity to the land. But guess what? Kuku Jumuku, and I will not bribe an official in Sierra Leone for waiting, justifiably belong to me. When I get paper and proof for show all thing, but because somebody don't go wash you and a corner, don't go quiz you and a corner, you prevent me from carrying on the task that I need to carry on. You think saying my life is the waste, or my family life is the waste. Whatever is in darkness shall surely come to light. So at the end of the day, all them people there, so don't go cook up, don't go plot, don't go waiting and call. Thinking that you are preventing Matilda Cole and her family from progressing, but you are preventing the nation from progressing. Because whatever I bring Canada nation, then other country, they not only the eat them. Now other people and they benefit from them. So at the end of the day, just so to say that our people are so hard at hearing and so stubborn that sometimes they left, get any result, but to be very heavy-handed with them. Even when you are heavy-handed, if you are not careful, you're doing it at your own peril, at your own loss, because there will always be someone at the back. We go ready for can sabotage you hard hand work. Like I said, one of these days, I am not going to be the host. I will be the guest. Because
And
it is
today is
about
one of those days.
I talk about this. And when you see I begin, I don't give a long rope. When you see I begin, all the radio broadcasting station, all the channel they don't get for see me and my family. Because the right thing must be done in Sierra Leone. If I, as a citizen, I pay my taxes, I pay everything, and I follow the rule of the law, why shouldn't the rule of the law be applicable and be certified to everyone? So to the person where they talk, say, prevent them from Brookstone, do this, do that. Papa, me own family, Matilda Orimisa Cole, okay? We don't put signboard, no trespassing. The latest one here, now the minister of land, now he go sell half of the land, go give somebody. So you imagine that. A private owned land. And not of us say this na new land though. This na land where big pass me, papa we born me. So you figure, you think about
You
that.
know,
I go to the
this is the I know this is the sad part when we break the law. It not only they affect the people them when they like you, it affects all of us. You know, this not to. I don't hear this story. Me daddy insist, and I just after what 11 years, he managed for win a case where somebody go build pantap a house where he begin for build sinner in land. Why? Because they had some political person covering their backs. You know, but let's take the caller.
let's take the call. Caller will take you. Waiting on your name and also you the call from, please.
No, be this na Umaru again.
Okay.
Sometimes when something happen, I don't understand how some people can analyze things. This caller, I don't understand. Most of the time, he really idea that we can carry it. But I want to know say Sierra Leone, that nation, this nation, not a banana republic. Yeah, not a Osusu country. This country, we get people where they stand for represent Sierra Leoneans. We get people where they stand for make them elected into office for carry out the day-to-day management of the country. Then people who don't entrust in the hand for dig gutter. You don't understand, eh? I wouldn't do a left to them. But for say let people begin to contribute money, say I don't understand sometimes this caller, sometimes it sometimes I don't understand. What you want let people for instance, when I see look I am tech building where they go make uphill. They catch the house, they build up to 7-story. How you expect them people in the way they down or contribute money for dig gutter?
Play a devil's advocate here.
What people would they elect? We can campaign to who's the one who represents the one who we. Waiting at the responsibility. Why the only thing the advocates say, contribute money? That country, not to Osusu country. We elect people and Sierra Leone a banana republic. For say we not get anybody to represent. We get people we get office. The country is well structured. You get office. Let the people who in that office they work. Yeah, but for say you begin to talk say a community, you they build 200,000 house, but you not prepare for do that not to business. Now government responsibility. Now for dig road, government then they dig road, then they make road, then they put coltan, then they pull coltan in business. We also want to don't elect anybody. But for say you can advocate so this talk all the panel when they talk is serious than what the suggestion way they carry it. All if you know suggest of Allah who contribute money for go do burial, you go call suggest of Allah go married for person. What do we elect the people in there for? No, thank you very much. I sometimes this caller in contribution and no man. Thank you very much.
If I can come in, Matilda,
Yes,
if I can come
I will
in.
make you come inside. I will make you come inside. You know, a suggestion is a suggestion. Contribution is a contribution. The caller, I shall say, get your own perspective and your ideology as to why he feels say that then are the solution, the contribution into a purse. But already what we can tell the scholar is that like me, I live in Canada, but I pay taxes in Sierra Leone. I pay different forms of taxes in Sierra Leone just for the nature of the fact that my grandmother, my grandparents' house are still there. And so I need for pay taxes. I get lands, I need for pay taxes and what have you. But at the end of the day, now yes, so way I pay taxes, I'm happy for pay me tax because I dey get the services. Over there, I pay taxes, but I don't get the services. That is the biggest problem. And for me, I think it's a scam. Because it's a scam because if I dey pay something, forget something and I know they get them, There's a big problem with that. That does not sit right with me. For the fact that I dey pay water rates, they year in, year out, but one water no dey cross go inside the compound, I have an issue with that. And also because the pipe there wey sit down na the pipe there wey me granny die left for. I'm not from that family. We dey make sure say we repair thing, modernized pipe, brand new pipe, laid out all over. But yet water no dey come inside the compound. Why? But every month I have to pay. For what? What am I paying for? Make we continue, sir.
You see, the salon problem is big pass how we dey see am. I dey repeat that. We have a dysfunctional society. And if we say they use Wamat, we know they make salon. We get to look at things from, let we say, detach yourself from the issue. Examine what you need for be examined. As Alima say, we get all the laws in Sierra Leone that I can verify, Alima. I worked in that country 20 years. All the laws what we need for make Sierra Leone a modern society day. But we not get the culture and the attitude of implementation. People like Yala, oh, we lack maintenance culture. We don't lack maintenance culture because we don't even know what maintenance is. We lack the culture of implementing things for the collective benefit. We get the culture of implementing things for the personal benefit, the ego. We egos and so oversized. Somebody they come out, he go spend almost $1,000 build a house. But in order to make sure say he get access road, he get water supply connected, electricity connected, so that all the other people they can build around, then say go get ancillary connections. You don't have to spend the money to do that. You only need to go through the correct procedures. You get the authorities for can lay the water, lay the access road and everything for you. You pay for those services that you are required to pay for. But we alter with a bypass because we feel say we money now in the work. This is what we get. Freetown. I go tell you now this for free. Freetown. If they say they want to construct Freetown properly, half of Freetown they go down. Because in 1978, I did a dissertation, a thesis on land use in the Western area peninsula. Any house where they above 2,500 feet now illegal house. There is a law stating that any house where they above 2,000, that conservation area, the forest conservation area, any house where they don't build it, are illegal house. And those laws have not been amended in parliament. So now one day one Christmas they be president implement it. Then go be
Well,
yalla,
the truth
"Hey,
is, if it is the truth, but Jamboya, the truth is, if like you say one Christmas, let me say by by coincidence, I am that Christmas. I
well,
am
I
not
go there
crazy
fear you.
because the
Don't
law is
worry.
the
You guys
law.
back
Because the law is the law, I will be going strictly according to the rules of the law.
up.
So if parazard, that Kresuman or that Kresman happen to be of my type of mentality and my type of seriousness, then let it be. Freetown is not the only place to inhabit. We
The
have
point I
vast
am
lands and
making,
vast places there. Make we
the
spread
point
the
I am
wings
making,
across.
Matilda,
Make we build environmentally sound homes, them sound houses, them for live, not just for
yeah.
today. Some people talk about, oh, you guys, you are over there. Yes, I am over here. Yes, make I say what? 90% of my family is over here. But at the end of the day, doesn't mean we do not have roots. So why you want can take me property if me grandpa no me granny and me grandpa no been buy and left and give me with papa, then they not been left and give me like me na ya so know the talk button. All you see is the immediate use. No, we thinking 100 years from today, not just today. And that
You
is
see,
the mentality of a lot of Sierra Leoneans.
um,
They
if I
always
can
the think
come,
about the immediate. Future
if
is
I
not in their existence. You know, they're not them planning at all. Just today, yeah, so right now, now. And we have to stop thinking like this.
Mm.
In
if
order
we
for make
really
we progress.
if we really want for plan Sierra Leone, we have to have a roadmap for the next 50 years, and we should begin to build the rural environment. Bring up the rural environment for attract people for go back there, get involved in small scale agriculture. Then when the population reduce now the towns and cities, you can plan them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what do we need for do immediately? We for digitalize we land use system na Sierra Leone. If not, land is going to cause another war in Sierra Leone.
Pajamboya, let me shock you. It's already digitalized. You see that land where they talk so?
Hmm.
Imapo, then digital, oh, it inside the digital system. Oh, I get all the coordination. I go right now, I Google, I put them, they see me land, the suicide, they don't bill, I don't suicide, they obstruct, the suicide still left, the halfway and still left, and what have you. It is there. But at the
That's
end of the day, you
recently
ask
done, I
yourself,
believe.
with all of this, how come somebody still able go and encroach na me land? How come
Now
somebody still
the
able
human
go build
factor.
on top me land?
Well, this is the problem, and I think for we, as you say, you choose we because a lot of we are knowledgeable about what is going on currently in Sierra Leone. So I think this is a wider conversation that the country, the people, then get forget. Transform Freetown should not just be a municipality initiative, but involve everybody, including the diaspora. And this is where I think, we are the sixth republic or the sixth continent. Often, when these conversations are happening, it's always localized. Yes, it's good to have these local conversations, but I remember in the early 80s, when 70s, 80s, when Lagos, Nigeria had the discussion of moving its capital city to Abuja because
Yes.
Lagos was so congested. It was such a terrible plan. It was in such a bad shape. Nothing would be the work. Everything was just in disarray. And the country had to make a decision. Sierra Leoneans, Freetonians, the whole country. Now that we've overcome this political desperado, what we did, the next conversation is what do we want as a people? I know say there was
Yes.
a little bit of a disjointed with the previous caller, but I seem for sympathize with the previous caller from the angle where he say, because again, there were people working in Freetown City Council. There are local councils in those quarters where this rubbish has piled up. I would like to think a council be even past that road they serve, where they go walk every
Ministers.
ministers, they
Ministers.
pass that road, they go walk. If any minister, if I were the president of Sierra Leone, as of Monday morning, 8 a.m., this rubbish dump, the building site, I will call everybody who is a person that the council, the people of Sierra Leone they pay, where they take taxpayers' money into my office. If you not get an answer as to how this came about, where you not know about them, it will be immediate sack. Because therefore you're not fit for be, there has to be some accountability and fit for purpose. Sierra Leone, Freetown don't become a state city that is not fit for purpose because we can't keep going on like this. The country cannot keep existing, or the city of Freetown cannot keep existing on this organized, haphazard urban planning. illegal dwellings. If we don't accept it, these are people in illegal dwellings, by right, the government should have been issuing possession orders to these communities and saying, by year 2025, obviously you give them plenty time, by year 2025, we want all of you to evacuate these dwellings. Because not only are you causing a danger to the community that you're in, to yourself and the public, but you're creating a condition where later on we will regret allowing you to stay. And this idea that we cannot tell our people, especially when you poor say you're wrong, now in they put people and then put, just like how we feel say with politicians, while we say they're wrong, not because people are poor on their vote, you cannot look them in the eye and say, at some point as a leader, we have to take those difficult decisions and say, this very particular issue is one that is going to hurt us. Because the sooner we
Yes.
come to that point, let us be like a doctor. A doctor, good or bad, he go look you in the eye and say your disease is going to kill you. They are trained to do that. If we take the diagnosis of this illness where we get now we sit here and say, you know what, in order to cure this disease, we need to prescribe some medication we get for really hurt we, whether we like it or not, it's going to hurt us. There will be some people that will be dragged out of their homes in the middle of the night to say, go back to this particular areas where you came from, because this is not an area for you to dwell. But because politicians, just with the issue of FGM, they refuse to speak on these issues because they rely on the vote of people, and the people of Sierra Leone will never hold the politicians accountable and say, you cannot hurt my daughter or my wife because you want to forget vote. Before you give me vote, you don't build a school in a local community, you don't build a hospital, you don't extend electricity. Do we have clean drinking water? Until we begin, they're all right now here in
It
hunger.
is called zoning.
Zoning.
Yes.
Most of our politicians, our government entities are at hunger. For the first time, I've not gone to hunger this year, but they're all in New York right now. And there is another summit that is going on called the Summit for the Future. The Summit of the Future is where the United Nations is saying to its 100 and plus member states to say, we have looked on this. First, it was the Millennium Development Goals. We never achieved those. We are now looking at the Sustainable Development Goals with climate change at the heart of that. Currently, Sierra Leone is a time bomb, is a ticking time bomb. Freetown is a ticking time bomb. Despite the mayor's good intention of planting more trees, reducing the heat in
It's not
Freetown,
enough.
it's not enough. We are almost at a point where there is a disaster waiting to happen. And for me, somebody said, what are the solutions I'm going to give? The solutions are this: we have to take some serious discussion, serious decisions have to be made around urban planning. Where we've identified illegal dwellers or illegal dwellings, we need to now beginning to say to those communities, you have to move away, and then
Yes.
identify areas of where inside we can move them to, that will be and then plan for that area before we move them. I know they've had this discussion where the flooding be happening at Freetown, and
Yes.
because I wrote articles, and please go read my articles I've written on climate change and the impact of climate change and this lack of
I
gender
think I
sensitive,
read some of them.
yeah, gender sensitive policies towards the urban planning in Freetown. Because again, these decisions are not made in conjunction with the people. It's always been led by politicians whose interest it is. No individual, every one of us have a part to play in the development of our country. If every planning involves the community responsible, we want to build a road, chief, because now chief they don't turn Bondo society congregation, they sing and
That's
praise
the
for
point.
FGM.
You have a
You know,
great
so
point
when
there.
they, yes, so when they don't turn sing and praise worship leaders, then are them Bondo Bush there. What they should be doing is bringing these people out of these spaces and say, we want for construct certain. So because this was what my dad did for any time my papa be the go and construct roads, buildings. The Manor River Bridge today. What 30 years ago, my dad and all his colleagues and construct that bridge. It
In
is still standing. The daddy
71, 72.
72. The clock tower in Kenema. I already said they don't broker, they don't construct something. He built that out of his own pocket because he had this idea of building something would have been this like the CN Tower equivalent in Kenema. But because the people at that time, the leaders at the time, even though he had the greatest support of the council leader when I've been the late Chief Brian Makagbo, E.T. Kamara, but there were people within the system that did not see that vision. And this is the problem we have in Sierra Leone. A lot of our
Mm-hmm.
leaders, when I say leader, I don't mean the political leaders or politicians
Yeah.
now, local leaders now, community leader now,
Mm-hmm.
institutional leaders now. Our leaders don't have that vision of the future. Right now, as we dey
Yes.
talk, the summit of the future, it's called. Can you believe we they talk about coming up with AI technology? You know, the super highway when it comes to technology. We are so
Mm-hmm.
far away, even though we they talk about modernization in Sierra Leone. When they speak, we are like 20 years behind, even though we they feel like they say we don't advance. No, there's no discussion. The next building, we for lay tracks for Wi-Fi connection. We they lay tracks for
No,
super
we dey
highway
tell
in
God thank you because IMF don't give we something
we
million
don't
dollar
exactly.
extension, and within our Congress they bigger for make them sign 500 whatever
You
to
see
go
what I
ahead
mean?
whatever.
So this is what we should be talking about. I know it's very academic, it's very over intellectual, but these are the conversations. But unfortunately, the spaces of our people now and the conversations we're having is so myopic that I can wonder say, are these the same Sierra Leoneans that I grew up around or I know of? That we people that need to talk anything of advancement. We have a few. When I say we people then the general population, okay,
Yes.
I wanted to see myself as a
If I,
middle
if I,
class.
if I keep coming, Alima, I
Yes,
want
sir.
for the
Yes, sir.
past small.
Yes, yes.
Such discussions are not academic. And you hit a very important point. Community consultations on
Mm-hmm.
issues connected with development. Now, one of the things we for adopt in Sierra Leone,
Yeah.
they do it in Norway. Anything where they want to do, then they talk to we. Then they give we notice. Then they ask we
Same
questions.
here in Canada.
They even,
Mm-hmm.
they even send questionnaires. You see one of them? This is from the statistics office. Then give me a code, sailor, enter on the website for answer certain questions. Because then they think for do some change in this area in the next 5 years. These are some of the things we are failing to do. I'm not saying the tower will be small with the Minister of Information. They may get out broadcasting unit where they may get audio system, then get projector, then get a generator, then they go now the rural areas. They talk to people about certain policies. All that thing and they don't disappear. Forget a
Mm.
single person go sit down in New York, make a speech. Not only they solve the problem. Go down to the people, get them to understand what you want to do, how you want to do it. Use their own mami language for talk to them. That's how they talk Mende. Talk to an Mende. You how they talk
Mm-hmm.
Dimba, talk to Dimba. Let you understand. Then you go see how the people and they comply. Because one of the
Yes.
problems we have about we country, now the compliance level nine low. The people and they look say the one that we sabi book where they up yonder, the one that we get money where they up yonder, then they na their own world, we they na we own world. Until then the thief we sell out the thief at we own level. That disconnects there. And now one of the reasons that will make violence don't increase now in society. Where there is trust lost, violence they replace trust,
Yes.
especially in communities. Look at even in
Exactly.
England, America, societies or communities where violence level high. One of the things you will know is that there is little trust in that community. So it's the
Indeed.
dog eat dog survival mentality nine people
Indeed.
and get.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yes, because the breakdown of society, it's the whole idea of the failings of a society. Also, we get poor construction, dirty, unruling, or what we call breakdown of law. Nobody know they follow anything. Nobody have no hope, no aspiration, lawlessness. Nothing will work in those areas. I'm glad the way we brought up mentioned the UK. I live in London in one of the most deprived neighborhood, and for many years I work in where I call poor desperate communities where most household, single household, let's say single female households, where the fathers or the men were in prison, where the children have low levels in terms of O levels in schools, where crime was so high that there was nothing whatsoever. I remember when the designer come into the room. We needed a designer for say, okay, maybe if we paint the estates and put some kind of grass here, tree there, maybe the people will feel good about themselves. The architect looked away. He says, "Do you people understand what deprivation means for a lot of people?" He said, let us begin to understand what deprivation means for a lot of people. And obviously, he give you this context of what deprivation is. He said, in deprivation, it's almost like you are blind to your sight. There is no hope of you seeing color coming through your eyes. So you can paint the
Yeah.
wall bright fluorescent yellow, the people will not see it. He said, but if you begin to understand what deprivation means and you begin to do certain things within the community, the people then begin to see, whoa, that they have value in us. These people see that we are human beings. So for me, one of the solutions I would like to give, especially at this current time with all of these issues that are going on, I know say a lot of we are experts in this and we did talk from that kind of aggressive language and this and that. But I want to use some subtle language at this point in time. There is no wrong for we leaders then to come and say, you know what, we have made mistake, because I don't listen to many of them when they talk on the television or say we they can't do this. Like when my brother say, yeah, you can come and sympathize with me, but that does not solve the problem. What we want to see in the next few days or even weeks from the government and the agencies involved is for those people to come to the people or the public to say, we made a mistake and we have heard you. And this is what we are going to do. But we are not going to do it by ourselves. We are going to do it together. This now we all responsibility as Sierra Leoneans, home and abroad. If you know, say you get a family member where you they send money, it then at this slum area. Perhaps this is that time you for talk to and say, Bo Balu, use local area. If now one bucket water and soap self you dey take, you dey scrub the gutter there, you dey scrub your vicinity. You go reduce malaria. Then you no go dey sick all the time for that they send you money. Or if somebody say, oh, I don't go take drip, and they get this and they talk to that you family. They say, ask them about the locality where they live. Wusa they go take treatment. A lot of me people they now they see them they go take drip from people who are not even qualified. Their hands are not washed. The spread of diseases again. There are so many things. So we don't then at the diaspora now. This is where our responsibility comes. Rather than the government pitting us against each other, the them and us, blaming diaspora for leading the confusion around politics, let we put all of this aside and say, what are the local and diaspora citizens they do for we locals? And for me, as Alima to Kenny MBE, this has been my job for 30 years educating my community on the importance. We did talk about violence earlier, and I hope because I'm mindful of the time. But when we talk about violence, the level of violence that we have in Sierra Leone is high. It increased every
Yeah.
year. Just in
Yeah.
2023, right? We have over 8,000 cases of reported violence, domestic, what they call they say domestic violence, but it's not domestic violence. It's everything and everything that is reported. But if you look at the levels of cases that have been resolved as a result of the reports made, not many. I think they will probably be even in the hundreds. We have 8,000, but maybe 100 cases where some kind of investigation, but we don't even ever get a concluded case where there has been a violent report. Never. And I challenge anybody, we will say, prove me wrong. I want to see a case where we go from start to finish. And some of the judgments is just no more let them say a piecemeal kind of approach to the issue, rather than saying, no, this person has committed a heinous crime of violence and most likely abuse on women and girls. This is the punishment without some kind of, and especially government. I mean, we get a case right now of two girls, and thankfully, for the first time in our history, were proven to have been killed, died, death occurred from FGM in Cambia. Now, that case is going to court. Obviously, I can't go into details around the case itself, but this is the first time we
Yes.
have laws. The Child Rights Act of 2007 talk of degrading treatment of children. Like we say, we have laws, but they have never been implemented. So it's things like this. So the next few days, I am urging the government authorities and the leaders responsible to have a meeting, a dragon, or what we call, there's a name for it when they say an urgent meeting with the leader, from the minister, the president, because in the UK, now the prime minister, yeah, yeah. I had one just the other day with Keir Starmer. Even though I did in America, I got an email from the Prime Minister because in April 2023 we meet with the Prime Minister and he asked me, "What can I do to curb the issue of violence against women and girls?" And as you know, 2023, just after COVID, we have high numbers of violence against women and girls in the UK, where a police officer stop an innocent woman on the street, charge her for a crime she did not commit, and eventually raped and murdered that woman. That case
Yeah.
touched many politicians, the Sarah Everard case, that got the government of Boris Johnson to act, where you get people then protested that the police they even arrest so many women them for protesting against this act of abuse and brutality. So this is that time. Yes, we're not a small country. Maybe we they ask of too much from we government, but we can do it because this is the statements they are making tomorrow and the next day at the United Nations say they are doing this to curb violence and this and that. But it's not happening on the ground, and I don't know what else we can do.
Exactly.
8,000 cases. In a lot of these cases where you go look how we record violence in Sierra Leone, our police officers don't have, because this is the police crime data, by the way. But when you look at this data, not all crime is recorded. For example, where does it
Exactly.
say in that report incest? We know say there's a lot of incest with the drug, the Kush epidemic in Sierra Leone. So many women are being abused. So many children are being abused. Where does it say the ages of the victims? It just say women. Just general. No, nobody wants to push themselves when they're doing anything. Everything are just minimal and tap and day. But nobody need to think, say, let we go further. Activists that we don't talk. There now needs to be that push. If we say we don't declare rape as a state of emergency, we don't pass emergency court cases, therefore take place for address this issue, then the government should now be saying it's been a year since the state of emergency was declared. Where do we see the changes happen? We have a policy right now, a flagship initiative that the first lady is running. How are we? What is the impact of these initiatives? Because sometimes we have to ask these difficult questions. It doesn't
Okay.
mean we're not
So I
waiting.
want to hold you right there because you they
Yes,
enter
ma'am.
into some territorial situation where you they take away me questions then for me. So I go get
I
for
just want to
hold
throw
you
the
there.
baby and the bath water right into the pond.
Yes, I will get for hold you there and make her bring me viewers them right into so many of you una go don ask say Matilda again your topic now the current rise of how they call them violence, you
Violence.
know,
Yes.
against the rise in violence na salon. You go say waiting all the discussion there so get for do. I hope say as soon I don't listen to we and I don't begin make the linkages them. Like I can tell you now before I approach a topic, I dey make sure say I bring thing and kind side way relatable to that topic dey, when a cosmic effect of that topic dey. Because if A and B and C, that basically now they do. 1 plus 1 is equals to 2, not also. 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. And then we sit down, they do so right now. How we arrive at the 5? The 5 basically 9 na the rise of violence na Salone. We don't talk about some of the societal impacts them, and some of the societal impacts stressors them, poor building, poor material, poor zoning. As a matter of fact, me yon papa na be an expert in country and city planning, right? So I understand a little bit about what we talk about now as well. We don't talk about poor conditions. We don't talk about the effect of the environment. We don't talk about the responsibility of the citizens, as well as the responsibilities of the electors, the one that we sit on our office, like where Madam Alima say, councillor in the past na that bridge side that dirty boku. The parliamentarian in the past day, the ministers then they pass there, the local how they call it, aid man they know about that, right? I would even go as far as for say the presidential convoy itself don't pass there. Or the first
Maybe.
lady in convoy don't pass there. But everybody they turn blind eye to the dangers that is in front of them. But then when it happened, everybody one point a finger, forgetting that one finger when they point at the other person, the three they point back to them because of the inactions. We don't talk about the fact that the dirty one they see, it bring rise to the penda, it bring rise to the lakpalakpa, the crocro, the reggae, the leprosy, the asthma, all of the malaria, the typhoid. I don't know how many times I can talk to me paddy there. Hey, I get malaria. Hey, I can say, hey, now malaria and typhoid, no, they don't know on a system. How do they treat this malaria and typhoid where every other week when I get malaria and typhoid? I don't understand. But when you see such filth, then you begin to understand why even the malaria and the typhoid had become resistant to the treatment. Because it is part of their environment. Even the mosquito themselves don't embalm. That no matter of waiting and do now, they affect them anymore. So the mosquito, the grumpig and the everybody, the lakpalakpa and the cocoa and the reggae, they are all in one family. But then this leads also to a bigger picture. When you sit down at such environments, when you are okay living in such environment where there are no rules and regulation, no checks and balances, no accountability, it creates human stressors. The human stressors they also can manifest in different ways. Couple the fact that we are now in full blown in a generation, right? The population size, the biggest size of the population, full blown, are those who experience the war. Those that we are calling adults at the moment, we don't enter adulthood or we they in adulthood, all of them are born with traumas. All of them were raised with traumas. It no matter if na America they can sit down, it no matter if na Canada, if they no take steps for work on themselves, for get psychological counseling, for work on themselves, for how they call them, for booster themselves, for realize the damage where even one day the body for see one day the body na treats when then they work away then small, or for witness the shortan, or was it short sleeve or a long sleeve situation, like the ballerina that just lost a life, may her soul rest in peace, you know, Michaela Mabinti the prince, when are also a victim of the war. Not only he born with a condition, a skin condition, but then he faced a situation where the rebel boys that argue about and split him belly open, left to bleed, left to death. So he lived with that trauma there. So it no matter which height of success she has attained in this life, she was still a very traumatized woman. Still a very traumatized woman who has not healed from the scars of her past. Scars that she did not ask for. Scars were not to call for. When are the happenings of life now, it happened to them for make it get them scars than they. And so now we witness a situation where a man would marry a woman, bring that woman into the US or how whatsoever the woman happened for can. That woman did in a matrimonial home, born for picking them for but yet waited until those children went to school and took a hammer to her head and beaten to death. Waiting una feel say they bring that. This na inside the US today. He say he don't escape the war, but the war never escaped him. We witness a situation where a woman will be, caught up with two men, even though she is married, and then what? Commit manslaughter. We witness a situation where a CID or whatever SOD officer has the bold mind to pelt a woman, beat a woman cold blooded, because he thinks he is the maker of the law. Nine are the Alpha and the Omega of a law. We witness a situation in Europe where a woman and a man would be married, and the man not only waited for make everybody na the environment escape, not only it take a hammer to the woman's head, after I don't hammer, it child the woman in belly open, harvest in organs them, and then begin sever in limbs, then chop them piece by piece by piece by piece. You're asking me, yes, this is happening in the Sierra Leonean community, people of recent. We witness a situation where a man who claims to love a woman would beat her black and blue, broke 8 of her rib cages, sever in spinal cord, wrap palm and call say he don't get heart attack, he suffered a heart attack, take and go to the hospital knowing fully well what he has done, call the family, join the family in prayer, because the family go hope, they hope say maybe their daughter will come back to life if they pray enough. Join the family in prayer. When the family asked, say, make we unwrap the body, he protested and said, no, you will be exposing her. It is indecent. Knowing fully what he had done, only for her to be taken to the mortuary after everything has been said and done, and the family is like, okay, we've met our fate. But for the pathologist to now come and say, I noticed something then on her bikini body. How this happened? Because when he reached Naya, he don't die already. What is going on here? And that will open up a can of worms. In Uganda, we see where an Olympic athlete was licked A man to go away, I don't know if na kerosene or petrol around the hose, light am and make it burn. It is happening everywhere. But as a Sierra Leonean, me urgency na the one way they happen in my country and my community. What have we missed? Because this is not a collective question we they ask. What have we missed? How did we get it wrong? Viewers and listeners, the one the way they watch right now from all we platform them. Do ya adedeguna? I am back. Share this link. Let them know at 5 p.m. Eastern. We are back. We are sitting here and we are going to be talking about this. Next week, we dedicate the full 2 hours. And that 2 hours, they not go be enough. Not go be enough at all, at all, at all. Make I tell you now one thing. But you all know me. Once I have a bone, I will chew on it. And this is a bone. And I'm going to chew on it. Like it or not, everybody will responsible. Will go be held culpable. Then names them. Then positions them will be called here. Because someone has dropped the ball. Someone has dropped the ball. We cannot be
Yeah.
talking about these things for years. For years, and now we are seeing the worst form of it.
Well,
A
Matilda,
former minister of gender and social welfare with a yearly acts of domestic abuse and violence. I can go on and on with the recent spats of things that will not happen. But I want you all to sit and rest because next week we they begin give numbers them. We they begin give datas them. We they begin give figures them. It is not all about dressing and looking nice and going on the social media and typing few sentences and people liking. It
but
is
this is
not
the
all about going into these international meetings and these international forums and taking pictures and tweeting we are here. What are you doing? You
well,
cannot
this
come and tell
this
me that you have a platform that defends women, that stands for the rights of women, that stands for the rights of girls, but yet I cannot see statistic that backs clear evidence of your action and what you have done. I am
well, this is
sorry,
the
I cannot
thing.
do that.
Well, Matilda, you have all my support. Just this afternoon, I've been talking with McKinney and friends then, and thank you so much for bringing the issue of what is going on around the world. But this is the thing, and I hope my brothers have keep doing. Sadly, for so long, women like me, I'm a survivor, not just of FGM, but of domestic abuse. So when I speak on this issue, I know they speak on because I want for bring down my country. This is very personal to me. I know some months or year ago, I share with you. When I speak, people took offense, and I was taken back by this. These are the individuals that we have tasked to hold perpetrators of abuse accountable. Yet this person took a vendetta, almost orchestrated a campaign for destroying my life because I chose to challenge them about my personal experience of violence. And I asked myself many, many times, how dare you, a woman, knowing what I've gone through, you want to question my validity of my experience because you have a political aspiration and you wanted to do something. And for me, I was prepared. If I was to die, I was prepared to fight. That was a fight I was not going to let go. And I don't care who that individual is because what we have in Sierra Leone is this. Yes, there is the issue of patriarchy and misogyny. But there is this saying Nelson Mandela said, and I want to equate it to the women. Nelson Mandela said, if you want to know the state of a society, right, look at the way it treats its children. For me,
Yes.
Sierra Leoneans are children of Sierra Leone. But if a mother, a father, a relative of somebody you say, my child that I gave birth to, that I love and suffered for, I'm going to take a knife, right? Open their legs in the name of culture and tradition, take out an organ of their body that is healthy, has a purpose to serve. It's not disease. It's not sickness. It's not evil. It's not. But you are prepared to use the state, to use the government, to use the law, to use every power in your hand to control a woman like Alima, Syrian, Hawadabo Sise, everybody else that speak against this because you want to appease the very power. It's like somebody saying, I support the rapists because I was raped. I've never shared this story. I've only said it once, but I'm saying it again for let people that know in my 55 years of living on earth, how impactful that abuse has happened. I can only imagine. Today, I speak as a victim and a survivor because they're not here to speak. Sia is not here to speak. Khadija Sako is not here to speak. Hannah, who was brutally murdered and disposed of at the beach, is not here to speak. When I speak,
Yeah.
I'm speaking on behalf of those people. I don't care who you are in Sierra Leone. If you support violence, right? Violence beseech violence. The entitlement of abuse that we have seen in Sierra Leone, no matter who we women are, if you look at our political women, even let's start from the echelon of power, the above. You hear these women talk. Sometimes I look at myself. There's a vacuum here of even feeling that you're part of the society. The way these women speak, and you look at now social media and how women speak to each other, you can now see where the problem is. These people have become so conditioned that they are willing to accept when something horrific that has happened, that then they disconnect themselves to the actual pain. You know, it's almost like the Stockholm syndrome. They absorb themselves from the issue. They in fact would rather provide support, provide answers, cuddle, cushion, comfort the perpetrators of this abuse. So perpetrators of abuse have become entitled. I am free to do whatever I want. That we have little boys, that the boy that killed or murdered or whatever we want to say, Sia. Let's just use the latest case because we've had many and there has never been all big dance na tight pala. Now you can see. Do you know the Khadija case? How far we went with that? At some point, I say, you know
Yeah.
what? Since we have every Joe blog say they want to be activists, now we left there. People made money, they made name for themselves. But did you know the family of Khadija today are still suffering? We are still not finished
Yeah.
with the case of Khadija.
Of
But there
course,
were
I
people
know.
who
Yeah.
set up, yes, there has never been an inquiry. Instead, the father was accused. And is sorry for the family of Sia. One good thing I picked up from the case of Sia, at least there are several voices within her immediate family that have that power to stand against the oppression that she has suffered. It's sad that somebody
Exactly.
so promising, and this is the problem we have. You
And
know, when
I want
yeah,
me
I
to
just
hold
want
this
to finish
discussion like
this
that
statement. When
because
we turn a blind eye to oppression, what we
yes,
they say, we actually they sanction the abuse. So
Yeah.
sadly, we will
exactly,
get more women that we go can die as a result of violence. We get a more who can
exactly.
die. Uh-huh.
That's true. I want to hold this topic now so for today. There is something peculiar about the Sia case
Mhm.
that we're all talking about right now. And for me,
Mhm.
I've always talked about the seers that we know and the many, many thousands of seers that we do not know and we would
Mhm.
never know. So, in as
Mhm.
much as I put importance to the seers that we know, I put
Mhm.
much more importance to the seers that we do not know and we would
So
never
many
know.
more. So many more.
And we pray and hope that the seers that we do not know of, we get to know of them. Because the more we know of them, the more we would advocate, the more we can speak up, the more we can challenge institutions and norms. Mr. Jamboy, I left the final word give you for today, and I will come back and close today's session. People, if you think I have started, well, you have not seen me yet. Come back next week and you will see
Um,
some.
before we dey do the closing, I want give you a point of reference.
Yes, sir.
In 2003 January, Human Rights Watch did a publication with titled "If You Cry, We'll Kill You." It's about rape during the war years. I want to read down there so that next week we will come with discuss. Because you see, rape was used as an instrument of intimidation during the war.
Yes.
As you rightly say, the generation of adults today, they were the kids of the war years. Some of them were directly involved in the violence. That is what they learned. If we go back to the sociology of upbringing, where Dorothy Not Law writes that poem around, children learn what they live.
That's
What
right.
you grow up to know is what you become as an adult. Except if you willingly, some of we grow with certain things that will willingly look say, no, I cannot continue with this. You pull and come out of you. This is what we have in Sierra Leone. And I will tell you, trust me, a greater percentage of the people in governance today, they are more traumatized than we see them. That
Oh
is
yeah.
why rape and violence they increase, because they get the people, the perpetrators of rape and violence, they get quiet support from certain political levels.
Yes.
You said there are 8,000 and more cases. You know why those cases are not being taken seriously? It's the politics involved in it, intimidation of the family members. Even me while they talking to somebody, you, then go, I say, hey, you know what's laid one. Then they go, no, say now we all prepared and I left salon give.
Yes.
There is a level of intimidation, quiet intimidation. And then they even do on them stage all day. I'm making an hypothesis. It has happened 3 times. Whenever we come online, a caller will call that will not say anything. That's part of the tactics of intimidation. But they are failing. Some of us are fearless. Evil thrives on fear. And evil cannot thrive with me. I'm the son of the great grandson of a Waliu. We now have to deal with evil. Wake out your pink call now. You say, feel you do. All this violence, all this mix up thing, what they talk about, the environmental deterioration, etc., they are connected. When people take the energy of intimidation and evil for be part of their modus operandi, other subsequent things they happen. This is the world we live in. Some people may not understand it because maybe it's a little bit above their understanding. But as I say,
Exactly.
you are as you think. If you think decent, everything around you, they manifest itself in decency. You they take care of your environment. You they take care of your home. You they take care of your family. Your wife, you they cherish them. But when you think evil, everything around you they deteriorate. This is what is happening
Yes,
in
sir.
Sierra Leone. The factors are there. The political angle there. The economic angle there. We will not forget.
We will
Because
go all into that next week.
wealth are not circulating in Sierra Leone, poverty levels high, so traumatized person wey vex e dey craze.
Yes. Yes. So I want to make we hold on, Nayaso, because I
And
can
now
let us put the
I
show.
just dey give the foundation.
Yes. Not true.
This
I can
is
let
not
her
a
hold
big
the show
topic.
even yeah. Even when we go past the time, I can still want for still maintain them within a time frame where it absorbable to other listeners them for taking that time frame. So I can be mindful of that. So in the last 2 minutes, people listen, let me tell you, I hope and pray that these two people will be seated here with me again next week, because inside next week we don't lay the foundation today, right? We don't lay the foundation. Next week we dey put the pillar them, we begin put the brick them. We
That's
dey
right.
put the pillars and the bricks them. So you don't want to miss it. You honestly don't want to. I am back. The time of the show is 5 p.m. Eastern. I know for say that the turnout's not been so great today because people don't know I am back. Obviously, I don't announce me coming back because I don't feel I need to announce my coming back. Let my work speak for itself, right? So I am back. The one that way they listen at the different platform. Make sure you bring all of your generations tomorrow, because trust me. Sorry, next week Saturday, because there will
Yeah.
be some things. One of us here, where you go look at the mirror, you find yourself within. Even if you want to be really really truthful to yourself, you go look at yourself, you go say, if even it not happen to me directly, I know somebody inside my family where it happened to, or where this thing they affect them. So it is not all about the heavy-handed political talk. What I am doing is also political talk. We all see ourselves in this. We are all, partners, victims, and collaborators. Let me just say this. Okay? So please, una share now with different platform them. I go ask the producer make it put up with different platforms them. Una make sure say una log in and make we can talk. If we not talk this talk and if we not find the solution to this talk, nobody else go do am for we. So next week, please catch us on the VOS network on YouTube, on Facebook, Voice of Salone TV, Voice of Salone Radio, VOS Salone, VOS UK, VOS Australia. We also on X, VOS Television. Within our voice tell as well. We then at the radio, we get a website, so I can catch we on a download we on Google Play or the Apple Play Store. We then at Twitch. So we then have so many
You that
platforms them. So
food.
sometimes when you see the numbers on one platform, make that day not bring you down, because there are people watching on other platforms. At the end of the day, we see our numbers, we know how many people watch us, and that's what's give when I done then they continue for give with the drive. Sometimes the one platform the number could be low, but the other platforms then the number are higher depending on the device and the platform where people then choose for watch we on. Okay, so next week you will see these two beautiful faces plus myself. But next week
I,
when you see
I get
me,
for
you they
I get
still
for
be
excuse
in the
myself. I get for excuse myself next week, but maybe this not the Sawusa we can ask with people them, especially if they watch this program. Let them ask if they get any
yes,
question, or if they feel say we say something way they not agree with, even with the disagreement.
yes,
At some point we will come to
yes,
some agreement. This is democracy. Then if you get any
yes.
question with the say we for ask next week, ask. I will always join later on, but I get a fundraiser where I attend next week. Um, I will join at the other time, but this is a
No, that's
conversation I
fine.
want to
That's
be
fine.
part of. Yeah,
That is
yeah,
that is perfect. That is fine. And
yeah.
we I mean, like I said, this is a discussion that I see myself having for a few weeks to come, because the layers are so many. So if you're not there next week, I should say the week after, hopefully, we can catch you. And then if there is someone you think as well that is of capacity for come join me next week for talk about this, let me know. I'll reach out to the person, see if they're available, let them come in, and let's all hang head and talk together. But for me they tell una right now, next week I get for nambara soto nambara nayaso, because I don't take these things lying. I don't play with these type of things. They are so important to me that I do not joke with them, and nobody for joke with them. Until next time, may God bless we all. Waiting with a fan, make God give we am. And I want to thank the panelists, them, the guests, them, phenomenal people. And yes, Salon Issues is back full swing with Matilda. And unfortunately, or fortunately, it happened that I am tackling an issue that I cannot keep quiet on. When I get for you read the Auditor General, I not touch that day too. When I get for here, give me the talk, but when a president will say make una go do agriculture, all man for agriculture for it. I not touch down there too. So there is more to come. I am back full and ready. Good night, everyone. May God bless you now, Tata.
Na so we say make we drive kush na salon, but we life them. That is so